And now we've not spoken at all about eyes, David, but that's what most people associate you with now.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. Yes. So you want to know why?
Yes.
Shall I tell you a little story about how? So EMS. I mean, seeing practice. I'm so much better at quality of seeing. So it was wonderful because you had to go somewhere where you knew some friends who could put you up. And through actually a church in Solihull, I knew some friends there, and so I just went along to their vets. And John Heath there was the senior partner and was an absolutely wonderful guy. And so I went along there, and he was passionate about ophthalmology. In the days when very few people in practice had got a certificate, an RCDS certificate in the subject, he had that. And so it was wonderful. And he was things like, here's an example. So he was also the secretary of Warwickshire County Cricket Association. He brought Brian Lara to Warwick. Okay, but amazing. So, and he said, "Oh, David, I've got to go and sit in a committee tomorrow. And here's a dead dog, and here's a Bissler's Book of Veterinary Ophthalmic Surgery. Have a go, and here's my wonderful nurse Jane. Have a go at doing a parotid duct transposition on this dog, where you move the parotid duct from there up into the eye, and it took me all day. Eventually came back and showed me some extra little tips. The next day, he said, "Oh, David," he said, "I've got to sit and write up all these committee meeting notes. I've got another dog that now a live one to do a parotid duct transposition. I haven't done a parotid duct transposition for 3 or 4 months, but you did one yesterday, so you do it." So he was in the same airspace, and so it was there when I said, "Oh, John, what do I do?" Well, Miss Heath, what do I do in this situation? And most of the time, Jane could tell me what to do, but so occasionally he came over and told me. And so that was before I'd done a bitch spay, I had done a parotid duct transposition, so I knew that was the way to go. So anyway, forward on a bit. So my last summer, I had already done my 26 weeks. Oh, I'm so angry at the Royal College for reducing the number of EMS weeks. That EMS is where we learn, isn't it? Anyway, so I'd done my 26 weeks. So the last summer I could spend working with a wonderful missionary vet in Alison Craven in Nepal. And 3 weeks before I was due to fly out, the Nepalese government said, "No, we're not having any more foreigners here. In fact, we're checking all for. Oh no, we'll keep you, Alison, because you're running all our agriculture service and the NHS, the Nepalese health service." So they kept her, and but they wouldn't let me in. What am I going to do for the whole summer? So I rang Dr. Barnett at the Animal Health Trust, and I said, "Oh, Dr. Barnett, I'm so interested in ophthalmology, and I've loved your lectures." Oh, his lectures were only chalk and talk. He'd draw a circle with a squiggle in the middle. There was no way of knowing whether it was a corneal ulcer or a cataract or a retinal detachment. But he turned everybody off the subject apart from me. And I said, "I love your lectures. Can I come and work with you?" "Oh," he said, "no, we only take graduates. We don't take undergraduates." And but I said, "Oh, John Heath from Solihull recommended me to come and work with you." "Oh," he said, "oh, you knew John Heath?" "Oh," he said, "well, how long do you want to come?" I said, "The summer, please." He said, "Well, come on Monday and we'll see how we get on." So I went on the first Monday of my holidays, and the first thing I saw was a dog with a hazy looking lens. And he handed me a direct ophthalmologist who said, "What's the dog got?" I said, "Oh, it's got a cataract." And I remember him putting his hand to his head and go, this is in front of the client, and go to the owner and saying, "I spent an hour explaining to you the difference between nucleus sclerosis and cataract." And he showed me that you could see through with the direct ophthalmologist a lovely reflection from the back of the eye. I knew then that it was nucleus sclerosis, not cataract. So, and through the rest of the day, I said, "Oh, that's uveitis." "No, it's glaucoma," all the way through until the last case of the day, which was a hazy lens. I said, "Oh, this is nucleus sclerosis." And he said, "Oh, quick on the uptake, aren't we?" And he said, "How long do you want to stay?" I said, "The summer." Said, "By all means, stay the whole summer." And I had a wonderful time, saw hundreds of eyes. So one of the reasons for doing my Instagram bow tie is that then every day you see a new case. So today's, for instance, is a lovely rag doll with a wonderful shimmering nystagmus. And of course, yesterday was a bow tie. The day before was a dog. I saw, as I say, someone emailed me saying, "Oh, please, we've got this dog with glaucoma. I think it's glaucoma. I haven't got a tonometer, but it's got a dilated pupil and a red eye and blindness." And I said, "Oh yeah, sounds like glaucoma. And have you got any drugs or no drugs?" So I said, "Get the owner to do a script for latanoprost. Get them to bring it back with the dog. Put a drop in the eye and see if the pupil constricts. And if it constricts, you don't need to measure the pressure. You know the pressure's gone down. And I said, oh, how can I repay you?" He said, "All you have to do is give me a photo before and after you put the drops in, and then let me put it up on the Instagram." So he did that. So every day I'm excited by a new case that's come along to put on it. And that's because for that summer, I learned so much from Heath. So at the end of the summer, he says, "Go and work for John Heath for 2 years. You need to get general practice experience and then come back and be my assistant." No interns or residents, just an assistant. So that's fine. So then with 3 weeks to go before finals, do you remember revising? When you would read through something and you knew it. So it was pointless having read through it because you knew it. Or you find you didn't know, you thought you knew it and you didn't know it. So then how much more have I got to go before with that I might not know? So I said, "Oh, Keith," I now knew was Keith. "Keith, can I come and just work with you just the Monday?" Actually, I spent the whole week with him. And he said, "Beverly, my assistant, has actually got a research position next year, so I'm looking for a new assistant." And I said, "Oh, but you told me to have 2 years in general practice." So he said, "This will never come again. Just come like this." So I went along for the interview dressed as I am now. I think a slightly more demure bow tie, but not much. Maybe my blue and white spotty bow tie. Anyway, so
Robin Day.
And I have an interview with Andrew Higgins, the head of the Animal Health Trust, and Keith. And the only other person who had come was a wonderful guy. You may remember him, Pip Boydell. And Pip,
my both
like
knew
this.
him well.
Pip came all just in black with a shock of black hair and pink winkle picker shoes. And so he was amazing. And he had already he was a qualified vet for several years. He'd worked with Tom Yarrow in London. He knew everything. And yet I got here because of the bow tie and not having pink winkle picker shoes. So that was how I started in ophthalmology then, really. And it was an amazing 2.5 years of being Keith's assistant